Thank you, Sarah. Can you walk us through the events in the building this morning that informed the president's tweets about the Pfizer reauthorization vote on the House today? They seem to be took different positions at different times. And as a follow-up to that, what do you say to the idea that having these seemingly in conflict stances undermines the administration's ability to get an agenda done?
We don't think that there was a conflict at all. The president fully supports the 702 and was happy to see that it passed the House today, but he does have some overall concern with the FISA program more generally. The president doesn't feel that we should have to choose between protecting American citizens and protecting their civil liberties. He wants to do both, and that's exactly what he's going to do. We don't see any contradiction or confusion in that.
Sir.
Roberta?
A quick question about Dr. Jackson's statement. It'll come tomorrow after the
Yeah, it'd be kind of tricky if it came before.
No, but it'll come tomorrow though, right?
Yeah, he'll put out a brief statement, but we'll take the weekend to compile the rest of the results, lab results, things like that, and he'll join me here on Tuesday to give a detailed readout of the president's exam and then answer a few questions from you guys.
Walmart, if I might, just because it's in Arkansas.
Great steak. Everybody should go.
At the same time as it announced the raises, it also announced that 260 Sam's Club stores are going to close without much notice. And I'm wondering if you have any comment on that aspect of what's happened today with the company.
I don't have any comment on that specific component. We are, again, very excited about the raises and the overall influx of investment that they're putting into their company and helping over 1 million workers here in the country. Walmart is the largest employer in the country, and to see them do and make that kind of effort to over 1 million workers is a big deal, something we're excited about, and I think further evidence that the tax reform and tax cut packages are having the impact that we had hoped. John?
Sarah, if there was no contradiction between the president's tweet this morning and official White House policy, can you tell us why his first tweet sparked off a flurry of activity and phone calls between the White House and Capitol Hill?
I think there's a flurry of activity at the White House every day.
And the White House and White House staff leading one government official to say we did more work before 8 o'clock this morning than most people do in a week.
That government official probably doesn't work at the White House because we usually do more work by 8 o'clock in the morning, as most of you know, because you start calling us usually around 5 a.m. And we try to respond to emails and phone calls about 24 hours a day from you guys. I'm not sure about the flurry of activity. Again, to us, that's a pretty normal day, and we're always engaged with members on the Hill, members of our staff, so that seems pretty standard practice. Major?
A few questions. One, Senator Flake has left some on Capitol Hill with the impression that there is a deal on immigration and DACA. Is there one, and does the White House believe it's one it will support?
There has not been a deal reached yet. However, we still think we can get there, and we're very focused on trying to make sure that that happens. The president's been clear about what his priorities are in that process, and we're going to continue working with members of the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, to make sure that we try to get that deal done.
Related to that, is the White House familiar with what the contours of Senator Flake is talking about, and would it regard it as progress?
I can't speak to the specifics of Senator Flake. I can tell you that a deal has not been reached, and we've outlined what a deal would need to look like on our end for it to happen.
Can you explain from the administration's point of view the value of demonstration projects in the 10 states that have asked for it for those who are able-bodied who receive Medicaid? Because there are critics who say, even as a demonstration project, it would fundamentally change Medicaid's orientation to those who receive it because they qualify, and that's historically been the method. If you qualify, you receive.
You're referencing the CMS, the
Yes.
new policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're announcing that to support states in efforts to strengthen the Medicaid program and getting Americans engaged in getting back to work. The policy will allow states to design programs that help beneficiaries improve health and well-being. At the same time, the policy protects the most vulnerable, including those determined to be medically frail or suffering from a substance use disorder. That's what the focus of that program is on. Cecilia.
Thanks, Sarah. But back to FISA, if I can. Many people are interpreting that first tweet from the president to mean he didn't actually know how FISA works and for that matter, that he wasn't familiar with his own administration's policy.
That's already.
Does he know FISA? Was he familiar with the policy?
He does, which is why he issued a presidential memo last week expressing concerns and asking for a review of it, which is also why D&I put out a new policy this morning. This is top of mind for the president, top of mind for the administration, and he has a full understanding. Don't believe me? Ask Speaker Ryan. Look to the comments that he made. He's somebody who's been in constant contact and had many discussions with the president on this issue, and he stated that in his press conference earlier today.
And how exactly was the Trump campaign so badly surveilled and abused under FISA as he seemed to claim in that tweet?
Look, I think that there are a lot of things that indicate the surveillance that took place there, and I'm not sure what the part of confusion is on that front. You guys have reported on it many, many times. Jim?
If you're a dreamer out there, should you have confidence that this president is going to reach an agreement that will protect you from being deported?
You should. I think you saw that. You guys got to come into the room in a pretty unprecedented way and sat in there for almost an hour listening to the president talk about it, listening to the president commit to getting a solution on this. Right now we're counting on Republicans and Democrats to come together, which we think they will, to make a deal on DACA and on border security, which is a vital part of that conversation and something that we insist be part of it.
And a quick follow-up on FISA. There seems to be a pattern, and correct me if I'm wrong if there is no pattern, where the president watches something on Fox and Friends and then he tweets about it. Apparently this morning, one of their personalities, Andrew Napolitano, said that this is not a good deal, Mr. President, don't do this. And then he went on Twitter and tweeted about the FISA program. There have been folks out there who have said, you know, there's a cause and effect. He watches something on Fox and Friends and then he tweets about it. Is that what happened this morning, and does that go on?
I'm sure you're disappointed he's not watching CNN.
I think he watched a lot of CNN, if you don't mind.
I don't think that's true. Your numbers would be higher. In reference to the question specifically. No, let's not. In response to the question, as I just said, the president has a great deal of understanding. This is top of mind. He was talking about it last week. He issued a presidential memo on it. So it's not something that just happened this morning. This has been an ongoing discussion and something of great importance. The president doesn't believe that Americans' rights or liberties should be abused, but he certainly believes that Americans should be protected. And he wants to make sure we do both of those things, and that's why he supports the 702, but has concern with FISA more generally. Matthew?
Thanks, Sarah. Sticking on the FISA topic.
Well, at least we're consistent.
Yeah, if you didn't see confusion and contradiction between that first tweet and the White House past stated policy, then why 2 hours later issue that second tweet that seemed to clarify the position?
We weren't confused, but some of you guys were, and we wanted to make sure you knew the White House position.
People on the Hill or people in these offices?
I had several questions from people in the room, as I'm sure all of you know, because most of you were the ones sending them. The president's been clear about what his position is. We've issued several statements on this, put out one last night that had to do with this. Look, I can't be more clear. I'm speaking on behalf of the president, on behalf of the administration, on what our position is, and I think I've laid that out several times here today. Blake?
Sarah, on Medicaid and what CMS put out today, critics would say you need to be healthy to get a job in the first place. How are they wrong?
Look, certainly we want the American workforce to be healthy, and we're focused on helping improve health care across the board, but we also want people to have jobs. We're working on both of those things simultaneously. I don't see how that conflates with one another.
People are just taking advantage of the system? Is that what
I'm sorry?
Do you think people are just flatly taking advantage of the system?
I think there are certainly cases where that happens. We don't think that's the overwhelming majority, but there's certainly that's an issue and something we want to be sure to address.
Sarah, back in the summer, the president said 100% he would talk with Special Counsel Mueller. Yesterday, he said we'll see what happens. He seemed to raise questions about whether there would be an interview. What's changed between the summer and now, and the president's thinking about speaking with Robert Mueller?
Nothing's changed. We're going to continue to be fully cooperative with the Special Counsel as we have been. However, the president and his personal attorneys are going to discuss this matter with the Office of the Special Counsel, not reporters, and that's going to be the process that we follow. Dave?
Those discussions are still going on?
We're still cooperating fully with the Special Counsel, yes. Dave, go ahead.
Back on the tax cuts, you mentioned that the Walmart bonuses are having the impact that you had hoped. As you know, Republicans alone in Congress passed the tax cuts. Democrats didn't vote for it at all. Why do you
We think that's sad. We wish they had.
How do you explain then that almost twice as many Republican incumbents are quitting Congress this year as opposed to Democrats?
Look, it's a midterm election, but we fully anticipate moving forward with strong House and Senate Republicans. Whether it's this year or next year, we're still focused on getting things done for the American people. And I really can't weigh in too much on specifics of the election or the midterms, but we feel really comfortable with where we are, and certainly with the record of success that we've had in 2017 to be able to run on that in 2018. Stephen?
Sarah, I am still confused about the timing of the tweet this morning, because it was 7:30 this morning, and the President referenced the fact that the House was going to vote today on this controversial FISA bill. He said that, he intimated that under FISA, his campaign was abused. Why would he do that this morning? The morning of the House vote on a program that he so cares about and wants.
As I said, it was top of mind. DNI also put out a new policy on FISA this morning. This is something that's been ongoing, a regular topic of discussion, and the President wanted to put something out. There's not much more than that.
Sarah, I'm not sure I got a clear answer from the Treasury Secretary to my question about what this administration hopes to achieve with additional sanctions on Iran. So I want to give you a crack at that.
I'll wait until additional sanctions are made before I weigh in on what that would look like, but as the Treasury Secretary said, we anticipate that that's likely to happen, and we'll keep you posted as it does and what that process will look like. Michael? Yeah, we haven't made a final decision on JCPO.
New ones would be outside of that.
Obviously, yeah. Michael?
Back to immigration real quick. Yesterday, I guess, a group of House Republicans put out an immigration plan that would deal with DACA, but would also do a whole lot of things that weren't kind of under the umbrella of the four things that you guys outlined in the meeting yesterday. Was that helpful? Was that not helpful to getting to a deal ultimately? Does the President wish that they take that off the table so that you can focus on what might be happening with Senator Flake or others in the Senate? How does a competing package?
We think it's a great starting point. We think it's a great place.
Even though it went beyond what the parameters that the President very specifically, and then you later after
he laid out the things he felt had to be included, not just what could be included. Certainly, we think that this is a good starting point, part of the negotiation process. If we could get everything done, we think that's much better than just getting part of it done. But we're okay with getting a deal done as long as it falls into the parameters that the President laid out.
But he understands, right, that adding the extra things are what makes what has the potential to make this more difficult, because various constituencies think of those things as poison pills that are actually going to.
I think that's why it's called a negotiation. Everybody puts everything on the table they want. You figure out what you're not willing to give up, which we've laid out, and you try to come out with everybody winning, which that's what we're hoping to do. Both Republicans, Democrats, the House, and the Senate. We've laid out those non-negotiables for us, and we're going to move forward in that process.
You get that by the end of by the next week or so, or do you?
I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but we certainly hope to get it done. I think the priority is making sure that we get it done and we get it done right. April?
Sarah, Secretary Mnuchin said that this White House has been working with businesses as it relates for a while, as it relates to this tax plan. And when it comes to Walmart, had this White House been talking with Walmart about a safety net for the employees that were going to lose their jobs today? Because I'm looking at a sign right now from Sam's Club that says this club will be closed on January 11th, 2018. That's today, the day that Secretary Mnuchin talks about how wonderful there will be increases in pay for Walmart workers.
I'm not aware about a conversation about a specific safety net. I can tell you that we're excited about the fact that they've raised minimum wage. They have increased opportunities when it comes to paid family leave, and that they are increasing salaries to over 1 million American workers. We think that's a positive. In terms of specifics on a safety net and conversations around that, I couldn't speak to that.
With welfare reform, is there a status report? Because I understand that Ryan and McConnell are not together on issues of welfare reform as it relates to education. Where does the president stand on this back and forth?
We're having conversations about that. We think it's important policy to look at, but right now our focus primarily is on the budget, and secondary is getting a deal done in regards to immigration on DACA and border security, and most likely moving on to infrastructure from there. John?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Two brief questions. The president said yesterday that, and I quote, "We are going to take a strong look at the libel laws." Now, many lawyers said that was an unusual statement because all libel laws are at the state level and not the federal level. Was he referring to states should take a look at libel laws or something else?
I think certainly states should take a look at it. Look, the president's frustrated with the misreporting and fake news that regularly takes place. He is tired of the media's obsession over recent fictitious book on the president and his administration, and he thinks that when things like that happen, there should be some action of recourse. He's simply stating that it should be looked into. Francesca?
I mean,
Sorry.
he meant the states, not that there should be federal libel laws.
I think he was speaking generally that libel laws should be looked at.
My other question is the administration have any reaction to the reports of the arrest of former Iranian President Ahmadinejad, who was leading a protest movement against the regime?
Not at this time. No, John. Francesca?
Thank you, Sarah. Back on the president's first tweet this morning in FISA, when he said that it may have been used, the FISA Act, to surveil and abuse his campaign, what specifically was he talking about there when he says may and abuse and surveil? Could you point me in the right direction?
Look, I think that this is something we've talked about many times before. There are a lot of things that indicate that there was surveillance at Trump Tower, and I'm not sure what the clarification is needed on that front. Trey?
Thanks, Sarah. Two questions for you. First, a few days ago you said the White House did not have any reaction to the transcript that was released by Senator Feinstein related to Fusion GPS. Is the president aware of this transcript? And does he have any reaction to the FBI references within the transcript and what was said by that gentleman?
We certainly think it's a gross overstep by Senator Feinstein to release that transcript. There's been a lot of comments about obstruction of justice, and frankly, the only people that we've seen trying to influence the investigation are former Director Comey and Democrats in Congress, and that would include Senator Feinstein, Representative Schiff, who have both selectively leaked to the media witness interviews. We see that to be a big problem and something that should certainly be considered and looked at.
My follow-up question, today Ecuador announced that it's granting nationality to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Does the president agree or disagree with this decision by the Ecuadorians?
I haven't spoken to him about that.
Can I ask you on Iran again? When the president went through the exercise in October of decertifying but signing the sanctions waivers, he said words to the effect of fix it or he wouldn't do this again. The fix was supposed to include some legislation which hasn't happened yet. Is the president comfortable with where the fix it part of this process is right now, and what is his feeling about what a fix would look like?
Look, the president still strongly believes this is one of the worst deals of all time. And one of the single greatest flaws is that its restrictions leave Iran free in the future to openly develop their nuclear program and rapidly achieve a nuclear weapons breakout capability. Obviously, we see big problems with that. The administration is continuing to work with Congress and with our allies to address those flaws, and we'll keep you guys posted as a decision on that front is made. Hallie?
Thanks, Sarah. I want to ask actually about offshore drilling, but before I do, I'm hoping you can clarify something that you've said a couple of times now, which was that a lot of people were confused by that tweet. So Mike Pompeo,
actually, I didn't say a lot of people. You guys said a lot of people were confused.
What was we weren't confused, but some of you were.
Some
what
of
you
you,
said. Yeah. So I want to ask about that because Mike Pompeo was obviously out talking about this, pushing for this. Tal Barsh, a lot of people in the president's administration were representing the president's position on this, that he wanted this to pass. His tweet today was confusing. It was contradictory. It just was. So how are people supposed to trust, not us as reporters, but lawmakers, stakeholders, policymakers, that the people representing the president's position actually are?
I think that the premise of your question is completely ridiculous and shows the lack of knowledge that you have on this process. I've tried several times. I'll do it a 10th time here. Look, the president supports the 702, but he has some very strong concerns about the FISA program more generally. Again, this is why he put out a memo last week outlining such, and why the D&I director put out a new policy this morning. I'm not sure what the confusion is there.
Cleared, Sarah, before I ask about offshore drilling, that you definitively are saying that the president's tweet this morning was, in your view, not at all confusing and not at all contradictory. You think that's an accurate statement? I just want to be very clear about this.
Yeah, it wasn't confusing to me. I'm sorry if it was for you. Jake?
Let me ask about the offshore drilling ban, Sarah,
Sure,
because there's been a lot of questions about what's happening in Florida. There have been other states that have pointed to the reason this administration is given for exempting Florida, saying that they also would like to be exempt. So how is exempting Florida from the ban anything other, in critics' view, than giving a political favor to White House allies in a key battleground state?
Look, the president is a massive advocate for America not just being energy independent, but being energy dominant. That's just part of that process, is the offshore drilling. That's why it's opened up for public comment. These are going to continue to be negotiations. We're going to continue to look for places and ways that we can make America more energy dominant. If that's one of them, then we're going to continue forward in that process. That's why we've opened up drilling in Anwar, the Keystone Pipeline, and cut a lot of job-killing regulations that have to do with that. We're going to continue moving forward in that process. It's an open comment period, and we'll continue to talk with other stakeholders as we make decisions for other areas and other states.
Was or was not a political favor?
Thank you, Sarah. I am not aware of any political favor that would have been part of, so no. Jay.
Thank you, Sarah. On prison reform, the president recently commuted the sentence of a first-time offender, a father of 10 children, who had been sentenced to an excess of 27 years. What kinds of injustices does the president view as priorities?
Look, the president is looking, one of the big topics of conversation for today specifically is looking at reducing the rates of recidivism, specific to helping reduce violent crime. This is a beginning conversation. This is to a listening session, and we're going to continue working through this process. But that was the #1 topic at today's meeting, and that's the big priority he has on that front at this point.
There have been reports out, and if you could please clarify, what is Mr. Kushner's role in the prison reform initiative exactly?
He's helping lead that conversation and put stakeholders together from a number of different areas that have expertise on this matter. I'll take one last question. Anita?
Can you just, going back to immigration, can you just shed a little bit of light on what the holdup is? Members of the Republican Party were in the negotiations. They're the ones who are saying they agree with Democrats. The administration has been in the meetings, at least some of them. So what do you know not like?
I believe there's only one member that said that there was a deal reached, and the other members are well in sync on the same page that we haven't quite gotten there, but we feel like we're close. And again, we're going to keep having these conversations. The president had a meeting here today with a number of members, both from the House and Senate, Republicans and Democrats, as a follow-up discussion on immigration. And again, we feel very strongly that we can get a deal made.
One piece that the president talked about missing, is that the issue, or is there not enough funding? Can you shed a little light?
I think it's Democrats agreeing to the other side of the deal. I think that's where we are. And again, we're confident and feel like we're going to get there. Thanks so much, guys. All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. If you are new and you like our coverage, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell. That way you get a heads up when we go live or we upload any news videos. We're going to be bringing you a whole bunch of news today regarding Julian Assange, regarding immigration, President Trump already endorsing a immigration bill that they actually spoke about in the conversation with Democrats and Republicans yesterday or the day before, I believe. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We're going to be bringing you a whole bunch of news. So stay tuned both here on our channel and on our website at goldenstatetimes.com.
Again, our website is goldenstatetimes.com. We post a whole bunch of news articles on there that we don't cover here on YouTube and stuff like that. So that way you guys are up to date on everything that is going on within the administration and all parts of it. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much to the moderators for keeping the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. You guys do an amazing job keeping the chat clean and enjoyable, and I thank you so much for all of your hard work. Thank you so much, moderators. Also, thank you so much to all those that shared the stream on social media, on Gab, on Facebook, Twitter, 4chan, Reddit. I see it everywhere, and I would like to thank you guys so much for all your hard work and your support and the assistance that you guys give us in making us a bigger channel, a better channel, and making sure that a lot of people learn about our channel and they come over and have fun here on our chat. So thank you so much to all of you guys that shared our live stream on social media. And last but not least, make sure that you guys sign up to our newsletter. The link is in the description below. Our newsletter is packed full of articles and videos and information that you might have missed throughout the day. And it's sent to you daily to keep you guys up to date on everything. So make sure you guys sign up. The link is in the description below. It's called the Golden State Times Daily Briefing. So you guys are up to date on everything that we had covered throughout the day. So make sure you guys sign up. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope to see you guys here next time. If there's any more live streams, we'll bring them to you live. If not, we're going to be uploading a whole bunch of news videos later on today, and we're going to be posting a whole bunch of news articles on our website. So make sure you guys check them out. Thank you very much. My name is Jen. I'm from Golden State Times, and I'll see you soon. Peace.